Hello, everyone, and welcome to the season two of the Bernard Desai Talk Show. And today on my show, I have Dr. Mel Gill, who is an author, a motivational speaker, a life coach, and a trainer. And more importantly, the creator of the Meta Secret. Well, Dr. Gill, welcome to the talk show.
Thank you for having me. It's such a pleasure to be on your show, Bernard.
Right. And Dr. Gill, I had a chance to go through your profile to see the books that you have written, seminars that you have been conducting. I just want to know from you, how did this all journey began as a motivational speaker or as a life coach?
Well, it's a very long story, actually. I mean, my background is in psychology and counseling people and helping as many people as possible. And one day, a friend of mine asked me if I could come to his office and motivate his staff, tell them how the brain works and everything. And next
Right.
thing I knew, I was in my element as I stood in front of them. I don't know where it all came from. And that was in 1988 when everything just kind of clicked together. And while I was teaching them about how their brain worked and how everything was organized in the world, about communication strategies, one thing led to another. And I was on the road to sharing the stage with all the best motivational speakers in the world until the time of the creation of the Meta Secret, the Napoleon Hill Foundation got 17 of its best speakers in the world to come together for its inaugural convention, and they chose me. So that was kind of cool. Actually, I could have stopped my career right there and fell asleep. I think I would be okay, but I needed to continue because it was in my blood. It's something that eventually became something I did as free as possible, for people. No.
Right. Since you said that you have been on the stage, and this is where is your moment. You stand in front on the stage across thousands of people sitting and listening to you. How is this feeling? Is it like some kind of gut feeling, or how do you feel standing on this stage?
Now, if you compare 20 years ago to now, it's a completely different thing altogether. At that time, to have 5,000, 8,000 people in front of me was normal, was, your heart races and you start to think to yourself, I've arrived, I'm here. This is what I'm meant to do. This is my mission in life. This is my raison d'etre, my reason for being,
Right.
but it's not, but now flash forward 20 years, I look at everybody in the audience before I say a word. Sometimes it takes me about a full 30 seconds to a minute. And I see people like myself who began 20 years ago, trying to make an impact in the world, trying to have more than they have currently. That was not enough for them. More joy, more happiness, more love, more wealth, more whatever they wanted more of. And
Right.
I look in everybody's eyes now. I mean, the last program I did was for 2,000 people, and that's a small number of people in the Philippines. And I looked and I knew it's so difficult to say this, and it doesn't make any sense in a scientific way. So I'm going to
Mhm.
say it in the way in which I felt. And it's just feeling. I felt and I knew everybody in that auditorium. And I had 2 days with them. Now, mind you, this is a program, a seminar that's related to the Meta Secret. And it starts from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. And I held their attention for 2 days solo.
Well, that sounds interesting. But my next question for you is, I've been hearing a lot about this. It says before the secret, there was a meta secret. So,
Mhm.
and you are the creator of Meta Secrets. I want to know what exactly is Meta Secret and how did you get this idea of creating something so beautiful?
Well, let me correct you a little bit. I didn't create it. What I did was I took a philosophy that was the basis for the law of attraction that existed for more than 10,000 years. And you have it in theosophy, you have it in the roots of the religions of the Egyptians, you have it in way before in the Bulgarian culture called the Thracian Empire. You have it, all of it there, but in very complex form. What I did was I took it all and I made it very, very relatable to the 21st century. And so much so that the languaging is very simple. And I took the 7 laws of creation, or the 7 laws that were given to men, and then turned into a collective, which we now know as the law of attraction. So way before there was The Secret, there was the law of attraction. Bob Proctor was teaching it. Joe Vitale was teaching it, not knowing that these are things that they, from the new thinking movement, the positive movement, that they didn't know the basis of it was in that ancient knowledge passed on from what is known as the Metatron, or the between God and man. And in Western culture, they call him Hermes Trismegistus, the messenger.
Right.
And so I made that so simple so that you can follow and put it all together to make the law of attraction. It's like a rainbow, when you combine all the colors of a rainbow,
Right.
the 7 colors, like the 7 laws of the law of attraction, you combine the 7 colors, you get white light. Did you know that? Yeah.
Yes, I do know. Yes.
Yeah. That's what the prism does. When you have white light going into a prism, it separates into a rainbow. It separates into all its component colors. And that's what I did. I made it so simple so that everybody using this now has a foolproof way to make the law of attraction work in a very scientific basis, but not by wishful thinking. There's a lot of work that goes into it. There's a lot of exercises. There's a lot of using your brain and your ability to change the psychological frames that you have made around your life, or I call it the psychological cages with which you have caged yourself. And we need to take these psychology constructs and turn it into a life that is worth living, that is happier, more fulfilling in every direction you can possibly think of. That's what I do.
Right. And since your journey, as a writer, motivational speaker, did you have any idols to whom you look up to, or any inspirational models for you?
You mean the ones made of stone along the way, like in the park, those kind of models, or?
Depends. I like someone like a role model for you.
Well, you know who inspired me to be a poet when I was 10, 11, 12 years old? I was studying the writings of Byron and Shelley and Keats.
Right.
And to me they were all interesting, but boring at the same time. And then I read a story, and I was barely 12 years old at that time, a story about Lord Byron. You see, Lord Byron had a club foot, so a deformity. And yet poets in their time were like superstars, the current superstars that we have today. And people, women especially, would gather around him because he was very, very beautiful man. And he had this presence around him. And the story that triggered me was very simple. He talked about when he was in school, around the same age as me, 12 years old, and he was studying theosophy or Bible studies or something like that they had to do. And it was a 2-hour paper, an essay. And the entire class was told to write about Jesus's first miracle, where he turned water to wine.
Water to wine, right.
Yeah. And so the whole class, when the teacher said start, and they all started, they started writing. Here was Byron, 12-year-old, looking out the window and looking at the scenery, the sunshine. He was lost in thought. 1 hour and 50 minutes later, the teacher said, "You have 5 more minutes." And Byron picked up the pen, wrote something on the piece of paper, put the pen down, and handed in his work with the rest of the students. When he got his paper back, he had an A plus plus plus, and
Wow.
a distinction. And all he wrote was this. Even the headmaster was moved. The waters of Canaan looked upon their Lord, and they blushed.
They blushed. Okay.
And they blushed. I mean, my God, you know, to be able to tell an entire story in one sentence, how do you do that? And so I was intrigued. And so that began my journey as a poet. I wrote countless books. I tried to get them published, and, there wasn't the maturity to back up the publishing thing, but that was the goal. I was 17 trying to publish my books. And next thing you know, I did eventually publish my own and sold them, in the United States, Singapore, everywhere I could, wherever I traveled.
Wonderful. Wonderful.
Yeah.
Well, and do you have any message to the aspiring writers or someone who wants to be a speaker, someone who wants to motivate thousands of people like what you used to do?
Yes, just simply do it. Don't wait for the right time, because the right time is now. And yes, you'll be making a lot of mistakes. And yes, a lot of people may not like you in the beginning. But don't worry about it, because this is always, always going to happen. You're going to fail a number of times, but from those failures come experience. And from that experience, the cumulative experience, comes wisdom, you know? And as far as writing a lot or things may go, let me tell you a story about one of the people I included in the Meta Secret. His name is Dan Pointer. Now, Dan was my idol because I wrote one book. In the year 2000, and then I wrote the second book, Meta Secret, in the year 2010. Now, Dan had written 14 books. So I said, Dan, you got to teach me how you do this, because that's amazing what you do. He said, and he turned to me, he said, Mel, you're amazing too. I said, well, thank you. He said, you're a motivational speaker, right? I said, yep. And as a professional motivational speaker, you stand in front of crowds of people even when you don't feel like it. Is that right? I said, yeah, that's true. Even when you're sick. I said, yep. Even when you have a fever. I said, yep. Even if you have a fight with your girlfriend or whoever, you still stand in front of them and deliver your best. I said, yep, that's absolutely true. You see, that's what a professional does. And Mel, I'm a professional writer. Now, something clicked in my head, and I stopped waiting for inspiration. This afternoon, I had a chat actually with Bulgaria's golden girl. Her name, is Bianca Panova, and I helped her to set up in Singapore a gym to train students. And she's known as Bulgaria's golden girl because she's in gymnastics, rhythm gymnastics, and won 9 gold medals. And I helped her write her first book, and she's stuck on the second book because she said she's waiting for her muse. And in inspiration, I said, look, how did you write the first one? She said, because you guided me. I said, yes, you kept screaming at me, where's your book, where's your book, where's your book? And so I got it done. I said, that's what you must do now. You need somebody to scream at you and tell you, finish it, finish it. So as a professional writer, you sit down and you put your pen to paper, sit in front of the computer, and you type whatever it is you need to type, at least 5, 10, 20 pages a day. And then at the end, you come and take a look at it. And so in the period from 2010 till now, I have written 157 books. I never looked back. I just went on and on and on and on. Some of them have become quite good sellers. I should focus on the marketing more, and they will do quite well. And I'm still writing more, probably 6 more. I've learned to do them simultaneously now.
Right. Wonderful. Wonderful. I see that you are a born storyteller. The amount of stories, the incidents that have gone through, like wonderful. Well,
Yeah,
and
but you see, you as a writer, you would collect all of these and you put it in a bag, in the deepest recesses of your brain, And when you're writing your book, all the stories will come out. Trust me, you don't need a good memory. The stories will find their way onto your pages.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, Dr. Gill, it's wonderful having you on the talk show and a lot of things to learn from you. And thank you for taking out your time for this.
My absolute pleasure. And I hope that one day, when I don't even need to be in India, but maybe we can set up a motivational talk show like I did in Singapore. I ran a motivational talk show for 7 years. I don't know if I told you that. And 2 hours a night, 5 days a week. I was motivating the whole Singapore, taking questions, becoming the Dr. Phil, and helping people through psychological issues and problems and relationship issues. Maybe you and I can create something like that.
Oh, that would be my pleasure. That would be something really wonderful
Yes,
and something new for the public,
I
to
think for India it's time. You know, I'm not I'm the first one to tell you I'm not anyone's guru, but I'm showing you how to become your own guru.
become your own guru,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, and that's what the GURU stands for. GURU. You.
Wow, fantastic. And dear listeners, if you have any queries that you want to ask to Dr. Gill, you can tweet to me or drop him a text. I'm sure he'll be more than happy to answer to all your queries.
Absolutely, it'll be my pleasure.
And I hope you guys have read the Meta Secret and the Residents of India. Very good news coming up that the Meta Secret is going to be launched officially in India as well.
Yes, yes, and you are my partner in
Yeah.
bringing it to India.
So it's going to be a deal between the Raindrops Books and Pandora Publishing.
Correct. Absolutely.
And I'm
I'm
very
excited.
happy. Yeah, super. We're super excited. So maybe very soon the
Yeah,
pre-order links will be out from Amazon, Flipkart, whichever website you would like to buy. The
sure.
links will be out apart from our main websites.
And I'm the one to be blamed for the delay because I'm crossing the T's and dotting the I's, and it's a very slow process. While I'm doing 15,000 different things and remodeling, it's an interesting logistical event that's going on
Right.
right now. Yeah.
And maybe if we have chance anytime later, we would discuss about your garden that you showed me on a video call.
Sure, absolutely. I don't know if this is capable of creating a video event. Is it? Or is it all audio?
We could do a video event as well.
Okay, that would be great. And
So
I'll
that
do
will
it while I'm in my garden.
be right. A talk show directly hosted from your garden.
Yeah, wouldn't that be interesting? We could even create a book out of that called The Garden of Dreams.
Oh, wow! I like this conversation. A lot of ideas popping in. I also want to be a motivational speaker. I guess many people who are listening to this talk would also be inspired to be either a writer or a speaker. And as you said, just do it. You don't have to wait.
You see, Bernard, I have to tell you something. You, by writing your books, are already a motivational speaker. Anyone going home to their family is already a motivator. And when you have to be at your job and your friend is depressed, you are already a motivator. And when you go back to your village or you go back to your community and you find that people are down, you're the first one that will be there as a motivator. And that's what's separate. You must have a love of a good motivator. If you don't love people, it's going to be very difficult.
Right. Well, all right then, Dr. Gill. Thank you so much for being on the show. You
Pleasure.
have
Absolute.
a great day.
Absolute pleasure. We'll talk again soon, Bernard.
Sure,
Thank you
will
for
do.
the
Thank you so
opportunity.
much.
Bye-bye.